Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Dash. All praises, honor, glory, love, respect, faith, and power, and trust, and all credit to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and my Heavenly Big Brother, Yahweh Shah. Thank you so much for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do. Double honors to your apostles and elders and bishops of GMS, Great Millstone, who I learned from, and all the men scattered all over the world, teaching this truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah. Trying to put a spiritual bug in you Hebrew Israelites' ears, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and your speckled birds. And what is a speckled bird? That'd be a Hebrew Israelite that look like some of the heathen nations, like for example, a Hebrew Israelite that look like a so-called white person, a so-called Chinese person, etc., etc. Got some videos lined up about economic, financial woes that's going on worldwide, not just in America, Babylon the Great, but worldwide. I'm going to play these videos. I'm going to get into the scripture my best ability, say whatever God say through spirit and power, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, the Holy Spirit, the Karhak, Dash. Lord willing, be on me. Let's get it.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's me Lily, and today I would like to give you an update on the situation here in Europe. This time I'm reporting from my greenhouse because actually in the car it's too hot. So now finally the hot summer starts here in Europe. We had a really cold long winter and also a cold spring. But finally summer is here, so we are good. Now there will come even stricter austerity measures in Austria. We have now a excessive deficit procedure with the European Union because our country is performing so badly. And of course all of the austerity measures will be burdened on the taxpayer again. Yeah, and this is where the cat bites its own tail, because you can raise taxes to a certain amount, but there's a point, a break-even point, a bad one, where companies will just close the doors, they will leave the countries, then you got more unemployment, then you get less tax revenue for the government, and then they will try to raise the taxes again, which will put even more burden on the last taxpayers of the system, and then the system is endangered to collapse, because at some point you just cannot take more. Then politicians will try to take what you own, or they will try to introduce an inheritance tax. And this is what's in the talks now in Europe. So the left parties always want to introduce an inheritance tax. But also what the EU has planned is a register about what you own. And there are plans about it. Sometimes there was too much criticism, so they backed off. But there are plans that they want to know what kind of house you have, if you have a flat.
Oh shit. You won't own nothing to be happy. That's what it sounds like to me.
A car, what kind of car. If you have shares, a share portfolio, if you have how many bank accounts, yeah. So they want to know everything about you. They also want to know,
so they can take it all from you,
what kind of gold reserves you have, yeah.
They want to take that too.
If you have gold or silver, because once they know what you have, they also can tax that. So now a lot of people are saying,
yeah, and it'd be easy for them to tax it from you, especially when they go digital. Yep. And all this shit leading to them chip implants. Get ready to lose everything, because some people don't want to lose everything. I'm praying, amen, Lord, put the spirit on me not to give a shit about this place.
This is going too far, and maybe this is just a conspiracy theory, but there are examples of...
No, it ain't. It's got to be real. It's got to be real.
Governments in Europe who are changing their laws to, first of all, know what you have, and second of all, they think about how they can tax your property. Here are some...
Fucking Esau, goodness gracious. They gonna tax you for taking a breath, inhaling and exhaling.
Critics are saying that the planned asset register of the European Union is a step towards expropriation. And this register could also be misused as a powerful instrument of control and surveillance of their citizens. So here they're saying that seizure of citizens' assets is by no means new.
That's just the way you make me. Get that big deal feeling this Prime Day, June 23rd through the 26th.
Did you know you can AFK Bloods and Zaya whilst learning to code in Python? Go to boot.
Throughout history, there have been repeated instances of governments measures leading to expropriations. This occurred in various forms. The gold ban in Germany between 1923 and 1931. So this is one example from history, but this was long ago, right? So this will not happen again, right? Wrong. It's happening again, maybe a little bit different, but it's happening. So now let's take a look at Italy. Italy is to tap undeclared gold to plug the budget hole. The Italian government needs money and wants to tap private gold holdings to get it. Many Italians own undocumented gold. And now the government in Italy has come up with a scheme to entice people to declare their gold holdings, to have them appraised and then pay 12.5% tax on their value. So
Man.
So if I got gold coins from my grandmother and I just kept them and didn't sell them, I now have to declare the value of my gold coins in Italy to the government, and then I have to pay 12.
Yeah, but then, but the crazy thing, how do they know if you got the motherfuckers? How do they know you got the gold? You didn't did they? I guess they know through Wi-Fi, because then they'll know by if you got a Wi-Fi router. It pings and syncs a signal and picks up anything like human movable objects, moving objects, or even objects that's just sitting still, and they'll detect what the hell is it anyway. And that's how they'll know what you have in your home, apartment, whatever.
5% taxes, even though I haven't sold them yet. This is crazy. So this is
Esau wants it. Oh, he want a cut from your ass.
This is going on in Italy, but also we now
mainly is Amalek.
I have the same problem in the Netherlands. It's not gold, but it's shares. So if you got a portfolio with a couple of shares, you haven't sold them because you're not a trader, you just save money, you want to have an extra to your pension maybe you have your portfolio for 20 plus years, so you've made a lot of profit, but you haven't sold anything yet. So the profit is not realized. But now the Netherlands, they want to tax the unrealized gains on shares. And they want to take 36% of your unrealized gains. That makes the 12.5% in Italy seems like nothing. 36%, crazy. So if you got, a good portfolio with a lot of good shares.
So are they gonna tax you every year or every month for having any of that stuff? The whole possession? Goodness gracious, bro. And if this happening in Netherlands, damn well it's gonna be happening in America.
And
it's worldwide.
You should pay 36%. How should you pay it if you don't have the money? Because you haven't sold the shares yet. So that actually will force you to sell your shares. So
force you to sell whatever.
You can pay the 36% taxes. That's crazy. This is just another form of expropriation, right? 36% annually.
Yeah, it's just another way of leading your ass to the chip-in plant or whatever.
Every year, if your portfolio makes profits, unrealized gains, they take 36% even if you don't sell anything. So actually, this is completely wrong. It's so wrong because if you...
See, this is what happens when the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. When the wicked bear fruit, the people more.
You make profits, and if you sell the shares, it's part of your income. So the income tax applies. But if you don't sell the shares yet, it's not part of your income yet. Yeah, it's completely crazy how governments are twisting around the definition of income. If you want to support my channel, the best way, high quality content, now it's chats could be grounded. Lufthansa, they are saying it's reached, ended quickly. Then some ships went through, but now it's blocked again, so we don't get...
Okay, I guess this is a whole nother video. She taking it in a car. Talking about ships. So anyway, let's just let the video... Let's get to the next video. I ain't gonna let this keep playing. If you want to watch the rest of it, they go to title, they go to channel. But damn, shit. You won't own nothing to be happy. Or they'll just tax the shit out of you. You can still have it, but they're going to tax the shit out of you for having gold. Or whatever assets. Anyway, next video.
I didn't believe these trades either. 80%, 100%, sometimes in under a day or two.
For many decades, Japan was the world's financial outlier. While central banks around the world raised interest rates, Japan kept them near zero. While investors searched for cheap money, Japan provided it, and while governments, hedge funds, banks, and corporations borrowed at higher rates elsewhere, they could always turn to Japan for virtually free financing. But right now, that era is coming to an end. Markets increasingly expect the Bank of Japan to raise interest rates again, potentially pushing them to their highest level since the mid-1990s. At first glance, of course, this may not sound like a big deal at all. After all, we're talking about interest rates moving from from very low levels to somewhat less low levels. But beneath the surface lies one of the most important and least understood risks facing the global financial system today. Because if Japanese investors begin bringing their money home, which they have already started doing, by the way, I discussed it previously, and if the famous yen carry trade starts to unwind, the consequences could extend far beyond Japan. It could shake US bond markets, it could pressure stock markets around the world too, and it could expose just how dependent the global financial system has become on cheap Japanese money. Let's break down what's happening and why investors around the world are paying attention. Why the Bank of Japan is under pressure. For nearly 3 decades, Japan struggled with the opposite problem facing most Western economies today. They struggled with deflation. Prices weren't rising, consumers delayed purchases, economic growth stagnated, and the Bank of Japan responded by maintaining some of the lowest interest rates in modern history. At one point, Japanese interest rates were actually negative, believe it or not. In other words, investors were effectively paying the government to hold their money. This ultra-loose monetary policy became a permanent feature of global finance. But conditions have changed dramatically. Inflation in Japan has remained above the Bank of Japan's target rate for an extended period of time. Wages are now rising, import costs remain elevated, and the Japanese yen has weakened significantly against the US dollar. The weak currency has become a growing political and economic problem. Japan imports most of its energy and many key commodities. A weaker yen means that Japanese households actually pay more for fuel, they pay more for food, and all imported goods. As a result of that, pressure is mounting on the Bank of Japan to normalize monetary policy. Here's where things become interesting. The real story isn't what happens inside Japan. The real story is what happens outside Japan. Japan is one of the largest creditors in the entire world. Japanese investors collectively hold trillions of dollars in foreign assets. That includes US treasuries, European bonds, corporate debt, stocks, private equity, infrastructure projects, and virtually every major asset class that you can imagine. Why? Well, because returns in Japan were so low for so long that it was more convenient and more lucrative to invest money elsewhere. When domestic government bonds yielded close to zero, investors naturally looked elsewhere. And if you were a Japanese pension fund and US Treasury bond paid, let's say 4 or 5%, while Japanese bond paid almost nothing, the choice was very obvious. Money flowed out of Japan and into global markets. For years, this proved a massive source of liquidity for the world economy, and more specifically for the US economy. Well, now the process could begin reversing. Imagine you're a Japanese insurance company. For years, you've invested billions of dollars in US Treasury bonds because yields were much higher than what you could earn at home. But now Japanese government bond yields are actually rising, and suddenly you no longer need to take currency risk. You no longer need to worry about hedging costs, and you can just earn attractive returns domestically. So what do? Well, you sell your foreign assets and bring that money back to Japan. This process is known as asset repatriation, and if it happens on a large scale, it could create significant turbulence across global markets. Japan owns more foreign assets than any other country in the world. The country's net international investment position exceeds $4 trillion. Even a modest relocation of those assets could have major consequences. A small percentage sounds insignificant, but when you're dealing with trillions of dollars, even small percentages become very large numbers. The United States may be particularly vulnerable. Japan has been among the largest foreign holders of US treasuries, and for decades, Japanese investors have helped finance America's deficits. But what happens if those investors start selling? Treasury yields could rise, the US government could face higher borrowing costs, mortgage rates could increase, corporate financing could become more expensive, and financial conditions across the economy would tighten. This matters because the United States is already running enormous fiscal deficits. Washington needs constant demand for Treasury securities in order to keep up its operations, and any reduction in foreign demand actually increases pressure on domestic buyers to absorb new debt issuance. And what that does is it could mean higher yields across the curve. The irony here is striking, of course. Many investors focus on what the Federal Reserve is doing, but one of the biggest risks to US borrowing costs may come from decisions that are made thousands of miles away in Tokyo. Now let's talk about what may be the most important piece of this entire puzzle, the yen carry trade. For years, investors borrowed money in Japanese yen at extremely low interest rates. They then converted those funds into dollars or other currencies and invested in higher yielding assets. This strategy became one of the most popular trades in global finance. Hedge funds used it, banks used it, corporations used it, and asset managers did as well. The logic was very simple: borrow cheaply in Japan, invest elsewhere, and pocket the difference. As long as the yen remained stable or weakened, the trade generated very attractive returns. But rate hikes change everything. When Japanese interest rates rise, borrowing costs increase. And if the yen strengthens, investors face currency losses. Suddenly, a trade that looked very safe and very profitable becomes very dangerous. Investors rush to unwind positions. Assets get sold, borrowed yen gets repurchased, and market volatility increases. This is where financial history becomes important. Carry trades tend to work quietly for years, but when they unwind violently. When everyone tries to exit at the same time, what happens? Liquidity disappears. Investors sell what they can sell, and they don't really want to take a profit. They just want to get rid of those assets. They don't want to be stuck holding a bag. So stocks decline, bonds decline, credit spreads widen, emerging markets come under pressure, and volatility spreads across asset classes. So we've seen versions of this before.
Well, that's it for that. Next video.
When it comes to natural gas,
For many decades, Japan was
Hold on. Put that on slow speed. Start it over.
Why is this happening? Right now, I don't even have 10 yuan in my pocket. Today, I put on my most proper and decent clothes. I just want to find a job where I can find food and a place to stay. Why is it so hard? Why can't nothing go smoothly? Now even relatives and friends are staying far away from me.
Making money is really too hard.
Don't expect anyone to feel sorry for you.
I've decided. Tomorrow, I'm not going to work. I'm going to beg.
I feel like this society is really pushing people.
I think I seen one of this young Jake goddamn begging for money. That nigga look bugged the fuck out. I was about to walk into Publix, and you can barely hear him speaking and shit. I'm like, don't you ask me for any money, nigga. He looked like, I mean, I don't know. He don't have that look like he really need money, like he just sad. He look crazy, mad as fuck looking. Like, nigga better give me some money or something. I'm trying to look intimidating or something. Like, fuck you, nigga. Shit. That motherfucker looking bugged the fuck out like a, you know, the Gen Z's looking all crazy and shit. Heck yeah. This nigga looking demonic as hell, asking people for money, and some people actually giving him money. And I ain't going for that shit. Once you whip out that wallet, this nigga gonna probably snatch it out and run with it. I don't know. I ain't taking no chances. Fuck that shit.
To the brink.
Especially now these days, you have circumspect. Somebody, some motherfucker gonna tell myself, oh, you're not gonna be giving? Fuck you and fuck him too, nigga. I ain't gotta give if I don't want to, nigga. Shit.
Insanity.
I'll give you some advice. Seek Yahweh Shema Shah. How about that? I feel like giving somebody something, I'll give it to them. I ain't giving it to everybody. Especially a motherfucker looking all crazy and demonic and bugged out. Fuck no.
We've already reached a point where there is no way out.
The good days are over.
No hope for life anymore. So, what are your plans for the future? No plans.
There's no slavery. If you're a Moabite. When the kingdom is established, hey, if you're a heathen, nigga, that's slavery for your ass. That's your future.
The ultimate tragedy of awareness is not ignorance, but knowing and being unable to act. Lately, I've had this feeling of being half alive. I don't feel any energy. I'm exhausted every day.
In 2026, China's unemployment wave and layoff wave are spreading across all social levels. Job pressure has expanded from blue-collar workers to white-collar workers. In 2026, major internet companies in China carried out large-scale layoffs. Alibaba, Tencent, ByteDance, Meituan, and Baidu have all reportedly made varying levels of adjustments. Roles such as front-end development, testing, data analysis, and operations were affected. In some business lines like travel, content, and e-commerce support, the reduction rate reached about 30 to 50%.
Northern Tool and Equipment. Get serious. It's just me and you, girl.
百度这轮裁员昨天才到我家了。Baidu's latest round of layoffs has already reached my family. I'm now in Tangshan, and I'm preparing to accompany my...
It's funny, they talk so much highly how great financially China is doing, but they ain't bringing this up in other, I don't know what the hell is the main, I don't know. What is it like? Anyway, I'm hearing from other news networks or whatever, saying that China is booming and looking better and all that shit. Well, yeah, they looking good when it comes to AI. They looking good when it comes to robots. They looking good when it comes to the chip implants. But when it comes to the people, shit, the motherfuckers ain't got no jobs. They goddamn wigging out, going crazy on the internet, social media, crashing out and shit. Shit. Yep. And they so, oh man, Moab's so proud and shit. Now look at, especially over here in America, but look at your people over in the land of Moab. They struggling, and America gonna be next. I mean, America is already struggling.
to the hospital for treatment in the next couple of days. My husband is in Beijing. I just got through to him on the phone. So have you received the notice?
Yeah, I received it. My 3-year contract has just expired. The severance they're offering is fairly reasonable.
That's good. Do you feel any better now?
I feel about the same. As adults, we can all understand it.
Yes, I think don't overthink it. Take this time to rest properly. After joining Meituan, in my 11th year, a sudden change disrupted my originally stable rhythm. The company proposed that my position be transferred to someone else. In that moment, panic and helplessness completely overwhelmed me. In the internet industry, the 35-year ceiling is something you can't avoid. I was laid off by ByteDance. Being laid off at 35, I'm married and without children. When you put all that together, it's enough to make anyone shake. This round cut a lot of people again. I work in channel management in Douyin Live Services. This live services division was supposed to be one of the biggest hiring departments this year. Now I've left, and I honestly don't know what to do anymore.
26岁的我居然被字节裁员了。
I'm 26 years old, and I've been laid off by ByteDance. Now, I can only process my registration. I've been at ByteDance for 6 years, mainly working in content operations. Honestly, when people hear ByteDance, they look at you with admiration. They think the pay is high, the work is easy, and even if it's not ideal, it still looks good on a resume for future jobs. Since I'm already laid off, I'll just say what I really feel. When I first graduated from university and joined the company, my salary was about 55,000 yuan. That was in a second-tier city, so it was pretty good. But high income also means high pressure. Competition in big companies is...
Alright, anyway, Moab getting fucked up. And the Lord's plaguing these niggas. You got some Jakes over there in the land of Moab that look like Moab too. So, hey, you get this... Hey, you hear words of Yahweh Shemau. I don't know how that I don't know. Their internet is different from the internet from other countries. I don't know. But if you're getting this truth, shit, continue trying to get as much as you can. And repenting and keep worshiping the Lord, learning more, reading more, studying more, doing the best you can do. But Isaiah chapter 16 verse 6 to straight up to Moab. We have heard of the pride of Moab. He is very proud, even of his loftiness and his pride and his wrath. But his lies shall not be so. So all that stuff they've been propping up and being a great country and they're good. Yeah, they got the chip implants, they got the robots, but are they looking out for their own people? No. And they people they successful in any of that? No. They try to make it seem like it is, but this shit is just pretty much going all over the world. People losing their jobs, ain't got no money, ain't got enough for food or to live and keep a roof over your head. And this is shit pretty much leading to the chip implants. That's why they got all the AI data centers and surveillance and robots to police the people, drones to police the people, all kind of shit. All they need is the chip implants. Anyway, next video, another one about China.
Get the automotive maintenance and repair tools you need, only at Harbor Freight.
Nearly home. Who done it?
We're looking for a house closer to everything, but we don't know where to start.
In business tonight, China has announced fresh measures to push the global use of the yuan and better manage domestic money market liquidity. The country's top finance leaders in Shanghai for an annual forum. Our senior correspondent Tan Yuguan reports.
Lujiazui is one of China's top financial policy forums, starring speakers from China's central bank, financial regulators, as well as Shanghai's top officials. But this year, Vice Premier He Lifeng makes a rare appearance, the first central government vice premier to speak in person at the event in 7 years. His presence immediately lifts the tone of the event from sector-level policy discussions to broader national economic signaling. And the message is consistent. China wants to push financial opening and support companies going global, but within a tightly managed framework. The Vice Premier says the government will help improve cross-border trade and investment in Shanghai, a significant move in a country where cross-border money flows are restricted.
在上海开展更加灵活的贸易外汇结算试点，以及跨境再保险收入境外投资便利化试点。 将跨国公司跨境资金集中运营管理试点推广至上海，便利跨国公司跨境资金统筹使用。
The vice premier also vows to tackle local government debt and said another 300 billion yuan in special bonds will be issued to replenish the capital of financial institutions. China's central bank governor also took to the podium, announcing a series of measures, including a tool to enable overseas central banks, sovereign wealth funds, and international financial organizations to obtain yuan liquidity more easily.
我们还将丰富离岸人民币债转、衍生品供给，支持香港建设全球离岸人民币业务枢纽，在境外形成有深度和活跃度的离岸人民币市场。我们将加强开放条件下的金融稳定保障体系和能力建设，守住不发生系统性风险的底线。
Observers see China's gradual steps to internationalize the yuan as a bid to reduce its dependence on a global payment system dominated by the US dollar. On China's slowing loan growth, the central bank leader said it's difficult and unnecessary for China's credit growth to maintain its previous pace. Tan Yu-Guan, CNA, Shanghai.
The U.S. and Iran conflict may be nearing an end, raising hopes that one of the biggest energy shocks in recent years is finally beginning to ease. Now, global oil prices responded immediately, but that relief has yet to reach Korean consumers here. For more, we are joined by our economic correspondent Kim Junong tonight. Welcome, Junong.
Great to be here, Tami.
So, Junong, I filled up my car yesterday, and it looks like gas prices across the country are still pretty steep.
Right, they're quite still high. I visited a gas station in Seoul that is known for offering relatively low prices, but gasoline was still selling nearly 2,000 won, or about $1.31 per liter. Nationwide, the average price stood at around 1,600 won before the Middle East conflict, but has remained above the 2,000 won range since mid-April. Drivers I met said the high cost of fuel remains a burden.
Gasoline prices are just too high. I drive long distances for work, so fuel costs have become a major burden. I spend nearly twice as much on gas as I used to.
I never imagined diesel prices would climb this close to 2,001 a liter. It reminds me of...
Shit, that's just the beginning. Wait till it gets even more. When it's when it was going on in the so-called Middle East, West Asia, it's gonna escalate more shit. And there won't be no need to be, you know, fueling up gas, because you won't be able to afford the shit. Won't be no need to go to work, because you're gonna have to pay to go to work.
Past economic crises.
The global oil market, however, is telling a very different story. By Wednesday, global benchmark Brent crude had dropped below $80 a barrel. U.S. benchmark West Texas Intermediate also fell below $80. It was the first time in more than 3 months that both benchmarks had traded under that level.
Well, Junong, there seems to be a clear gap between global oil prices and oil prices here in South Korea. When will that gap eventually begin to close?
Well, experts say there's typically a 3-week lag, and that's mainly due to the distribution process. Much of the fuel now being sold was purchased at higher prices. Here's how one expert explains it.
There are 2 stages of delay. One is between global oil prices and refiners, and the other is between refiners and gas stations selling that fuel. Altogether, it usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks for lower oil prices to reach consumers.
The bigger challenge now is getting the supply chain back on track. Oil refining and export facilities across the Strait of Hormuz were damaged during the conflict and are expected to take time to return to normal operations. Shipping has also yet to fully recover, with thousands of vessels still waiting to move through the waterway after weeks of disruption. Experts say supply conditions won't fully recover to pre-war levels until infrastructure is restored and geopolitical tensions ease. They say that process could take more than a year.
So it looks like it's going to take some time. Now, the government has been capping gasoline prices for a month now. Junong, it looks like that's going to continue, right?
For now, the answer is yes. So the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Resources had been expected to announce the next phase of the gasoline price cap tonight, but instead decided to extend the current ceiling. With the ceasefire still in its early stages, officials say they'll watch market conditions a little longer before making any changes. While no timeline has been given, the government says the current measure is only a temporary extension. As a result, the price ceiling for retailers will remain at 1,934 won per liter for gasoline and 1,923 won for diesel. For consumers, the price cap has helped keep fuel prices in check for more than 3 months. Removing it too soon could push gasoline prices even higher.
There's no
These are turbulent times.
In other news, Cuba has approved the most sweeping economic reform since Fidel Castro's 1959 revolution. And this as the communist island struggles with a deepening economic crisis, severe shortages and prolonged power outages. In a landmark speech to the National Assembly, Prime Minister Manuel Marrero unveiled 176 free market measures aimed at attracting investment, expanding the private sector and reducing the state's role in the economy. The measures will allow investment in everything from banking to tourism and agriculture.
These are proposals to confront the crisis, opening a transformative window that, if not implemented now, could bring irreversible political and social consequences. But I want to reiterate that these transformations do not represent a departure from the socialist project. On the contrary, they follow the logic of its own development.
For the first time, foreign investors will no longer be required to form joint ventures with the state. And both Cuban and foreign investors will be able to acquire stakes in state-owned companies. The reforms are designed to rescue an economy which has been pushed to the brink by fuel shortages, chronic blackouts and shortages of food, medicine and even drinking water. While Cuban leaders have long blamed U.S. sanctions and trade restrictions for the country's difficulties, President Miguel Diaz-Canel also acknowledged internal problems. He pointed to bureaucracy, slow decision-making and regulations that discourage production as factors worsening the crisis. He warned that urgent changes are needed to prevent economic collapse. Listen to this.
Cuba changes to rise. Cuba changes to live better. Cuba changes to continue being free. History taught us to resist. This time demands that we transform. And we are going to transform with the people, for the people, and by the people, just as Fidel Castro taught us and as Raúl Castro guided us.
The reforms come after the United States said it wanted Cuba to adopt reforms that could improve relations between the two countries.
We want the people of Cuba to be happy and successful. We're actually talking to the Cuban government right now about how they could change their ways to change that. We're going to see what they do, and obviously, if they do one thing, we're going to do something. If they make smart decisions, we're going to have a much better relationship with that island.
Back in Havana, reactions to the reforms have been mixed. Many residents say that the changes have come too late after years of economic hardships, while business owners, they hope that the measures will boost investment and revive the country's struggling tourism industry.
One plan, one price.
Well, I'm on my way to the food bank. I go once every 2 weeks because I can't afford groceries. I mean, I have a decent job, I actually do, but I cannot afford groceries. And it's not depending on the number of kids I have or how much I rent. It's literally, inflation is awful right now. I cannot afford to live. And I'm not the only one who's struggling with this.
45 years old, and I'm supposed to be saving for retirement, but yet I can't afford a trip to the grocery store. I can't fill my freezer. We have to just get the basics for each week because the groceries are through the roof, gas is through the roof, and we haven't gotten any raises to combat that. How the hell are we supposed to retire? How are you Gen X mamas? How is the Gen X generation even making it? Are we going to retire?
This is what $10 worth of groceries looks like. That's it. Grapes were half off. I don't know what the world's coming to.
Okay, if you're like me, you're probably taking it easy on the coffee nowadays and most everything else that is going up in the grocery store. I get so many comments from people saying that they are just astonished by the cost of living increases, by the rising food costs, everything.
This is a PSA for all of the privileged, rich, wealthy Americans. Hi, my name is Bridget. I'm 32 years old. I work full-time. And my paycheck does not give me enough to even get the bare minimums, okay? I had a savings account and I just had to use about half of it just to get by until my next paycheck, okay? And the reality of that is once my savings is gone, I don't have a crutch. I don't have any more crutches. And the stress of going grocery shopping, y'all, I'm at Aldi, okay? Which is quite literally probably one of the cheaper grocery options. And the way that I have to pinch my pennies just to make sure I have enough food until the next paycheck is quite literally wild. So to all of my single humans out there, you're doing amazing. And you know, we're a one income family. My fur babies don't work. I wish they did. I wish there was an opportunity. But what are we supposed to do? Like, when is enough enough? Because this kind of living is unsustainable. Unsustainable. Meanwhile, y'all are out here driving your Teslas and your Cybertrucks and your G-Wagons. Y'all, I'm in a Chevy Equinox, okay? And I'm starting to think I need to trade it in because I can't afford life anymore. When is enough enough?
Hey. Damn, what I'm supposed to look up? Whew, it's hot up in here. Oh, yeah, I'm damn near forgetting. What is it? I'm gonna say Zechariah. Hagar chapter 1 verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. And these people are like, enough is enough. When this bitch gonna give eventually. People gonna be resorting to any means necessary to survive anytime, especially when this shit crashes. Because all this shit is leading to them chip implants. To give you heads up, I mean, if you don't know it, you better know it now. The mark of the beast is on his way. And Esau is using this shit to make life a living hell and hard as hell for you to live financially. And I mean, pretty much it's leading to that. It's leading to that chip implant. So for you Israelites, you need to seek the Lord to get you ready for the spiritual battle.
Love to know. I would absolutely love.
Yeah, the spiritual mental battle.
Love to know. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. I have a college degree. I am overqualified for my job. I am severely, severely underpaid. What are we supposed to do? What's the answer? Because I think the next step for me, I'm gonna have to look into food stamps, and I bet you my salary is above the threshold. But obviously, I'm $85.26 away from being in the negative. What are we supposed to do? How am I supposed to buy groceries for 2 weeks with $85, only to have 26 cents left in my bank account? When is enough enough?
I just split my groceries 3 different ways in order to pay for them, with a line of people behind me.
Artisanal bread, buns, and rolls. We're made for this.
This little light of mine has been dark for
Yep, there'll be a lot of people like this. All bummed out and depressed and shit.
quite some time. Then I let in the light to help.
And they said, we'll make those depressions go away with a chip implant. Yeah. Shit.
I wanted to cry so bad walking out of that store. It was so embarrassing.
Oh boy, she sure got a lot of fucking hair though. That's one thing for sure. She covered with her own hair.
What I want to do is provide for my family and my friends and myself. I want to create a future where I can help other people.
Oh man. Anyway, let me wrap this up. They're talking about the future. The future is dark. It's dark as everywhere, especially in America, Babylon Great. Now I'm gonna let it keep playing. How much time I got? Oh shit, 37 minutes. Let me let it keep playing.
Well, and I can't even buy my own fucking groceries right now. I'm so fucking done struggling. I'm so done.
Oh, pull yourself up. Well, how you say it? Pull yourself up your bootstraps, Becky Sue. Becky Sue Ann, Mary, Maybelline, whatever the fuck.
Somebody needs to explain.
Oh shit. Keisha.
To me why I can't afford this ground beef. I go into the supermarket, okay? Because I'm looking for
Let me skip Keisha. I don't want to hear Keisha no more. I want to go back to Becky Sue Ann.
So ridiculous, and it's really starting to piss me off.
And you might have somebody that look like Becky Sue Ann, but they got an inner Keisha in them. And it could be a speckled bird. Somebody explain to me what the fuck is going on in this bitch. Why the damn this cost that much and that much cost this much and all that shit? What the fuck these motherfuckers out they mind? Yeah, you have some Edomite people that look like Edomites gonna be acting that way. Because naturally they are that way.
It feels like
spiritually are that way.
All of our extra income is going straight to groceries. I mean, we were spending before like $150 a week on a family of 4 for groceries. Now we're pushing 400 plus a week for groceries. The cost of meat is absolutely insane. We used to be able to get a pack of ground beef for like $6 or something like that. Now I went to Walmart today. It was $17 for a pack of ground beef to make some tacos. Like what?
If the cost of living gets any more expensive, I'm just gonna start stealing. You know what I mean? And I'm not kidding.
Oh, y'all already doing that shit. Hell yeah. There's a lot of Edomites doing that. Been doing that shit when they were making $100,000 a year. Hell yeah. There were a lot of Edomites doing that shit when they were making $100,000 a year. And they used to say that blacks and Latinos were stealing the most. No, be you Edomites stealing the most shit. Goddamn it. When y'all supposed to have good paying jobs, y'all niggas was stealing shit.
$1,200. $1,200 is what we have spent on groceries this month. We're not eating steaks. We're barely eating meat. It's like ground turkey instead of ground beef. We're doing canned tuna for tuna casserole. My kids have ramen and...
Man, I mean, like, is your kids about as big as your ass? Man, I don't know.
dumplings when I don't feel like making dinner. We're not going out to eat. We're not going crazy.
Alright, man, I had enough of this shit. I get tired of seeing all these red ass bitches goddamn crying and shit. And that's all it be. And then back to I don't know her real name, but back to her. And oh, there go another one. Yeah, another red, another red one. Well, anyway, well, they goddamn complaining, boy. Shit. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 3, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, be the banking system or the people that's running the banking system and the stocks and all that stuff gets weaker and weaker to the point where it's collapsing, it's crumbling, it's dying, and the Lord's gonna kill it. And it's coming too. And what's also coming, that digital shit with the chip implant. And the strong man shall bow themselves and the grinder cease, because there are few to work. The jobs is pretty much not there for the people. And those that look out the windows be darkest. So it's gonna look bad out here, especially here in America, Babylon the Great, but also all over the world. And the doors shall be shut in the streets, big business, small business closing up. When the sound of the grinding is low, when the sound of work is brought down low, when they ain't, there's certain places that people work doing mechanic work. You won't hear air wrenches going. You won't hear people that hammering nails on a frame and doing all that shit. You won't hear anybody driving on 18-wheelers, because hell, nobody won't be able to afford diesel, or either they just won't be delivering shit anyway. Yeah, you won't hear the diesel engines roaring, making noises, and the air brakes going. You won't hear all that shit. Most of the time, you're gonna be hearing gunshots and screams. Yep, and somebody cussing at somebody. Yep, and explosions too. Yep, sometimes some police sirens, but then again, might not hear that either, because it'll be civil unrest. So now, what's not the civil unrest? Lawlessness. That's what I meant to say. And because the police ain't gonna be out, they're gonna be out trying to protect themselves or their own family. So they like, fuck this job. Yep. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, by the early bird that gets the worm, going tweet, 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 or either cock-a-doodle-doo or the rooster. And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Music suck. I mean, every other media sucks. Anyway, that's all I got to say. But hey, man, seek Yahweh Shema Shah, gonna be rough worldwide. You're gonna need spiritual protection from up above. So seek Yahweh Shema Shah by seeking his prophets and take heed what to say, and try to build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Shema Shah by praying Yahweh Shema Shah, praising Yahweh Shema Shah, worshiping Yahweh Shema Shah, fearing Yahweh Shema Shah, and repenting Yahweh Shema Shah. To all the men out there pushing this truth and nothing but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Keep on preaching, keep on teaching, keep your faith and trust strong. Yahweh Shema Shah, stay humble. And for you few sisters out there taking heed, keep your faith and trust strong. Yahweh Shema Shah. Stay humble, stay in order with your man. If you ain't got no man, stay in order. Yahweh Shema Shah. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.